What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Kumite Lifestyle Podcast, where we bring you real conversations that resonate with all walks of life. And today we're joined by JJU Robinson, someone who was truly born into the world of martial arts, raised inside the dojo, and built through years of discipline, pressure, and high-level competition. From starting at a young age to competing on the national and international stages, JJ shares what it really takes to grow through the sport, handle expectations, and stay mentally locked in when the stakes are high. This is more than just a conversation about karate. It's about mindset, resilience, identity, and learning to do what you love for yourself. And as we continue to grow this brand and this community, we're creating more ways for you to stay connected and to tap into these conversations wherever you are. You can now watch and listen to every episode on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon, and even more platforms coming soon. We believe in moving forward, and we want to bring every single one of you with us on this journey. Shout out to the proud supporters of today's show: Delaware Bushido Academy, Grace C Jiu-Jitsu Smyrna, White Belt Surfer, and Torrey Wellness Center. Let's get into it with JJU Robinson. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Kumite Lifestyle Podcast. And today we're joined by JJU Robinson. And before we bring him on, I just want to make a quick mention that, the Kumite Lifestyle Podcast, these episodes are available on YouTube. And now for the first time, they're available on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcast. We're in the process of getting these episodes available as many platforms as possible, so that way you, the listeners, have an opportunity to also watch, from wherever you're at. So yeah, we appreciate your support. And guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and then we'll go from there. So now let's introduce our guest, JJ. Welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
Hi, it's a pleasure. Appreciate you having me on. It's great to be on.
Absolutely. And I got to say, your name has come up a lot, and it was a no-brainer to have you on. So yeah, I'm glad that our schedules worked out. And just to kind of give the viewers some context, I'm actually familiar with your family. I had a chance to, your mom was one of the coaches, I believe, when I went to Italy way back in 2010. So I'm kind of dating myself. And your sister was also on the team as well. So I know you guys are, very big into martial arts and very big into AAU karate. So I'm excited to, just hear your journey. So let's start with that. When did you first start your martial arts training? Because I don't want to assume that it was karate, but take us all the way back in time.
For sure. Yeah, no, it was kind of like I was born into it. My parents opened up a dojo. They moved from Philly. They met actually in Vegas, and they just renewed their vows for their whole wedding thing. But they met in Vegas, and my mom moved over to Philly. They moved down for my dad's other job, personal training. And he stopped doing that. He wanted to open up his own dojo. And I think I was 2 at the time. And when they opened it, which was, I think it was 2004, December. And, having both parents do karate and being pretty successful at it, both me and my sister were kind of born into that. And, luckily I took to it. I didn't really want to do anything else. The only other sport I really played was football, but I was always better at karate. So, took to it and did karateka, Kumite, did a little bit of kabuto, but started when I was 4 years old and been doing it ever since. Now I'm teaching, taking over the dojo that my dad gave to me, and really appreciate that. But yeah, started at a young age and been doing it ever since, really.
So it's safe to say that you love karate.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's number one in the heart, and then some other martial arts are coming around now, but karate for sure is number one.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that's awesome when you kind of get the chance to, it's like the humble upbringings, as they say, and, kind of get to know how you started at, such a young age, and, seeing all the success that you've had. So early on, tell the listeners, what was class like as a 4-year-old? Can you kind of remember what, that moment was like?
I want to say that when I first started, I was you could think of any kid that first starts. They're just all over the place, jumping all over everyone. Just stay still. That's the main thing. Keep them disciplined and just stay still for the 30, 45 minutes that they're there. As far as I remember, I would do class and then I would stay there because my dad had to teach or my mom had to teach, and we would just do our homework in the office, and we would always just watch. And then maybe after class I would stretch, because my dad was he was the dad, he was sensei, he was coach, he was all of it. So the one thing that was tough was none of the conversations or things I messed up at the dojo stayed at the dojo. They were always brought home, and
Yeah.
I'm better because of it. But it was just a lifestyle at that point. Like karate was at the dojo, it was at the house. It was when I went to school, like figuring out when I'm gonna get off school to do my homework so I can go train. It was that's all my childhood was, honestly. So that's really it.
Yeah. And growing up, like if someone asked what you did, maybe you're 6, maybe you're 10, maybe in high school, but if someone said, "Hey, like what is karate?" Because sometimes I used to struggle with kind of explaining exactly what I do because I know how much I love it, but kind of persuading someone that's, on the outside looking in, I think sometimes that can be difficult. So, yeah, for you, JJ, how would you best like if someone said, "Hey, like, what's that thing you do when you're like, kicking and punching?" How would you describe karate?
It's funny. I actually never really talked about it because kids would try to test you.
Yeah,
You
of
like
course. Oh yeah.
large. And they're like, "Oh, let's see what you got." And I was always a little more introverted, so I would keep to myself growing up, and I didn't want people to know because why fight when you need to? Yeah, I even knew that at a young age. But if they asked, I would really just like show them a video and just
Yeah.
explain. I like there's the curriculum side, like the actual like martial arts, and then I do the sports side as well. Like I go to competitions, I go overseas, I do whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. And then of course there's both sides. They're like, oh, that's cool. And then there's people that would like, well, let's see what he's got. Let's see if let's test him a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever have any sibling rivalries with Asia? Like, did you guys ever go at it with each other or?
No, we honestly, if we ever got in an argument or like had that, my dad would nip it in the butt like real quick because
Yeah.
he wasn't, I mean, he was close with his siblings, but he would always fight and he didn't want that between me and my sister. We were actually pretty supportive, and even now that she's coming back, she took a 6-year hiatus and now she's coming back and we're even closer. And it's cool because now that I'm not competing this year due to an injury, I'm able to coach her and just be there focused on her, which is good. And it was like that always growing up. And she always had the spotlight, but now that she left a little bit, I have a little more of the spotlight. So it's nice. Full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of spotlight, like over time with your, accomplishments, and we'll talk about, as your careers kind of transcended onto the national world scene, but early on, with your parents being, the school owners, and I'm sure other, kids at the dojo obviously knew that you were the son of the senseis, but like growing up, do you remember like those emotions? Like how did you like handle that, or how did you kind of I guess balance those yeah, those emotions, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. Like I said, I mean, it was always brought home. And, you
Yeah,
know, I had that healthy fear of my parents of like, don't mess up. The biggest thing was the pressure. I mean, when COVID
yeah,
hit, I was 18 and I wanted to stop karate for a while, at least
sure,
that year, and not
sure.
compete. My dad being successful, my mom being successful. They're like, just go do it. It's COVID. Like, who cares? No one's going to be really doing it. Had that pressure of doing it. And now that I'm older, I do it for myself
Yeah,
and compete because I love doing it. And, I just like that thrill and, getting on the mat. But early on, like I just did it so I wouldn't disappoint my parents because I didn't want to do it or I lost and whatever. So the emotional side was just the biggest thing was pressure. Never really, um, growing up, never really wanted to leave karate, but I
yeah,
always had this sense of like, I have to win. Otherwise people are going to look at me differently and look at my parents differently if I lost. But I realized that's not really the case at all growing
yeah.
up.
Yeah, it's like always after the fact, right? After we go back and kind of reflect on, those either those memories or kind of like, what we thought, how other people like, perceived us. But I get it, I mean, if I was in your shoes, I would feel that pressure too, because like it's like you don't want to disappoint because I mean, obviously your parents have done very well, like, not only as athletes, but as coaches and instructors, as they give back to each generation.
Sure.
JJ, do you remember? Was there ever a moment like, and maybe it was either your mom or your dad, but during training, was there something that they might have said at some point where it started to click and you finally, said, okay, like I am good at karate, or maybe it was a tournament, or maybe it was just a, self-talk that you gave yourself. But I feel that, we all, especially the ones that have been doing this for a very long time, there's a, pivotal moment in our career where something just, switches and, we kind of just find like our niche, if you will, like, in this craft of karate.
Yeah. I'll take you back even like when I was really young. My dad used to come into the room and he would flick the lights on, and he would say to me and my sister, "What are you?" And we would like scream back, half asleep, "Champion." And he said that every day. And then I didn't realize why he was doing it. I was just like, okay, I just have to say champion because that's the question. But it was that mindset that he was building for us that like, listen, we're champions at the end of the day, win, lose, or draw. Um, as far as it clicking, honestly, it never really clicked for me as a teenager. I always thought that even if I won, that it wasn't enough. Like for me, and like, okay, good, I won that tournament, but someone's going to be training harder now. And now I realize that mindset. It's a tough mindset to keep, but I think I realized it last year when just I won like mostly every division I was in, and I think doing it because I love it is the biggest thing now. Like that's why it's clicking. And that's why I like to win, and that's why I do win is because I love the sport now.
Yeah.
But it's always been that it's like it's not enough. It's not enough. I try to keep myself like humble as much as I can, but I always feel like it's never enough, which is the mindset that I think I clicked like once I turned like into the adult division, like 18 and above. So
Yeah. So, when it comes to competing, for the viewers, that are watching or listening, how do you, so there's different divisions. There's kata, there's kumite, and there's kabuto for those that choose. How would you briefly describe each of those categories to like maybe a fan or a parent that's there for the first time and it's kind of because it's confusing for the spectators too. You like athletes, we have a lot of emotions going on too, even coaches, but it's like everyone in that, venue is experiencing something either new for the first time or something very familiar, like, from the last time. So from an athlete standpoint, because I know you do both and you've done very well, how would you, like, what is kata? And like what is kumite and what is kobudo, from your own perspective?
yeah, I mean, Kabuto, I did it up till I was like 14 years old. I stopped because I was getting invited more to like overseas trips and they didn't really do it back then.
Yeah.
But he's always scored, long and short weapons. I couldn't speak too much about it because I don't know a lot about it. But as far as kata for me, I mean, it's always like based off your ki on as far as training goes.
Yeah.
That's why if you have good ki on, I think you have even better kata, which was drilled into me from a very young age. But when you go to competition, judges are looking either to score you or flag you against the people you're going against. And I have a feeling that in my eyes, I think Kion is more the most important thing. Mm-hmm. Like you could throw a kata together, but sure, will it look presentable? Will it look clean? Whatever. But yeah, they rank you either by score or by flag. And then Kumite, there's so many divisions now, but there's Ippon, which is that 1 full point open weight, and then Sambon, which is your kilo weight.
Yep.
I like for people to know me as a Kumite person. I have success in kata too, but Kumite is more my speed. But yeah, Kumite is, I don't know. My mom describes it as like a big game of tag for people that are watching. Like it's just get in, out, get the point. Don't get scored on first and just learn to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Or to drive it to someone.
Absolutely. And if you had to pick one, like which one would it be? Kumite?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I'm good at kata because I just had to do it. But I like that thrill. I like the fighting. Like weird enough, I like getting hit, and I'm like, all right, what's up? Like let's keep going, and this is fun to me. But yeah, Kumite for sure.
Yeah, yeah. They say like once you get to a certain age, as you get older, people start to appreciate kata a little bit more. So so it's cool that kata is still there, and available. I've always been pretty impressed with athletes that, can find success in both, the ones that win in kata, win in kumite. And I think it's just it just makes a well-rounded karateka. And again, for those watching or listening, it's not a dig for people that, choose one, because obviously if you're good at one, I think you should, strive for that, especially if that's what you're good at. But, karate as a whole is encompassing all those things that you mentioned. So, let's talk about your early, onslaught of competition. So, do you remember your first tournament? And if you do, which I'm sure you do, or maybe some of your early tournaments, how did you do?
I don't remember too much of my white belt competition season because in the AAU you can do 1 year and then you have to automatically move up next year. Yeah. I can remember all the way back to green belt. It's a funny story. We were in Chicago. This is when Chicago tournament was like really, really big. Mm-hmm. I was fighting. I can remember I was like maybe 6 years old, maybe 7. And it was like four people in my division. I fought this kid. It was semifinals, obviously, and my gi was like messed up, and I think I had to like leave the ring to go get changed or whatever, and then I came back, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I really have to use the bathroom. I ran to the bathroom for like 10, 15 minutes, like change out of everything, use the bathroom. They stopped the whole match for me to come back, and then we did the whole match again. That's the only thing I can remember from with that. But
Wait, so they stopped it and just say,
they
yeah.
stopped it. So basically, it was like what 2 minutes. They stopped the match because I really had to pee and I was like crying or something. And went used the bathroom, came back. I don't know how I got away with it because me as a ref now, if I saw a kid doing that, I was like, "Well, you should have used the bathroom, buddy. I'm sorry, I have to tell you." But I came back, fought, won, and then I think I won the next match for finals too. But that's the only thing I can remember from that way, all the way back then. So
Yeah, man. So shout out to that referee, man, for letting.
yeah. I don't know who it was. Maybe Coach O'Hara. You remember Coach O'Hara?
Of course.
Yeah, he was
I
there
could
on my
totally see
side.
him doing that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's definitely a Coach O'Hara thing right there. Very cool. So yeah, with your competition, right? What's a memorable tournament? Because I definitely would love to hear about, some of your experiences, like, winning nationals, like you said, and going overseas. But is there a memorable tournament? It doesn't have to be at a black belt level, but just one in general that really stands out. Maybe, you didn't place, or I mean, actually the story that you just said about having to go to the bathroom, I
Yeah.
feel that's pretty memorable. But, maybe as you got older, and like, competition started to get a little bit, more tougher, as they say, is like ever, is there a tournament that kind of stands out to you?
I think there's two. Well, there's one in 2022. I traveled to Algeria for the Afro Asian
Yeah.
like championship,
Yep.
and there was a group of four of us, and actually you just had him on. Luke was on the team,
Yeah. Yep.
so that was a great tournament. We went overseas and my luggage like got lost. Some reason whenever I travel overseas, my luggage is always lost. So I have to borrow people's clothes and stuff like that. I was borrowing loose clothes, two of my other teammates' clothes, but that one was just really fun because it was the first one ever, and we were treated like almost like royalty because it was a government ran event, and we had like people escorting us. The police was escorting us. We were like seeing like VIP sections of like Algeria. It was insane, and then the
Nice.
country was so beautiful. But the trip itself was just the best part. The competition, I mean, it was good, and I did well, but it was more like the trip itself was the best. And then as far as competition goes, I would say 2024 at nationals. 2023, I just dealt with some stuff like mentally and whatever. 2024, I put my mind to it. I lost a bit of weight, and I was really focused that year. I was training a lot that year, and I just didn't do as well as I wanted in 2023 at nationals. So I came back, trained, lost weight, did everything I needed to do, and yeah, 2024. The mindset was just no matter what happens, I mess up. I don't like the ref's call. Maybe I disagree with my coach, or something didn't go right that day. Whatever it is, I was like the mindset is I have to stay focused. Nothing's going to phase me, no matter what. Kata, Kumite on stage, but just the mindset I had at that tournament was so different. So yeah, definitely 2024 nationals, and I
Nice.
did well. So I won mostly everything that year. So
Yeah. That's awesome to hear. So speaking of your mindset, JJ, when you're, leading up to, nationals or a big tournament or maybe just a local tournament, in prep for the regular season, is there much that like do you change much as far as your training goes, or is that more just based on, certain events or maybe one particular event?
um, certain events, yeah, like I'll prepare a little bit more, or I'll focus more on like a specific thing that maybe I feel like I'm struggling on. Like let's say my kata feels really good, then I'll focus more on my Kumite specific drills. Like I won't really fight as much, just because I don't really have many people to fight with. I think that's why my mindset is the way it is because I don't have a lot of people to push me.
Yeah.
So I push myself, I train myself, and I started doing that during COVID because no one was really there at the dojo. So I would just go hit the bag and I would come up with these drills or whatever. And that's where the mindset started to like evolve. And I was still kind of a kid, becoming an adult. And, but yeah, like if it's a important event to me, then I'll train differently. I'll prepare a little bit more. I'll focus a little more and try not to go out. I mean, you competed. Like it's a different lifestyle that a lot of people don't get in the karate world. Like if you're not a serious athlete about your sport, then the people that don't actually compete are gonna be like, well, why are you blowing me off?
Yeah.
It's not something personal, man. It's just like I have a goal. Obviously I've written these goals down and I want to achieve them. So that's it. And then I'm hoping with this injury, so I tore my ACL this past February, and I'm hoping that the pressure that I was talking about earlier kind of goes away, and I just learn how to have fun with it more because like I just miss the sport so much right now because I can't do anything about it. But I feel like the mindset's gonna be even more like it's gonna be a lot different even next year once I can come back and compete.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yep. Yeah, so you're going to come back and win, right? So it's going to
yeah,
be
that's the goal. But yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be a cool redemption story. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it sucks that you're going through an injury, man, because it's things that we never expect or plan for because we either hear about it or see about it through another athlete. But when it hits us, it's like real, you know. So during this recovery time, what have you learned about yourself as far as like and I don't know, maybe that's just such a cliche thing to ask, but it's kind of through these ups and downs, right? Or there's moments that we kind of feel like not low, but in the sense because you're recovering, what have you learned about yourself, through this process?
the patience, I'm still trying to learn about it. I mean, but like understanding, I think the most important thing is learning what truly matters to me. Karate, 100%. I mean, I knew that, but not being able to do it, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with myself. Like I'm just have so much free time,
Yeah.
and just appreciating the little ones. Like when I first got the surgery, I wasn't able to lift my leg because I had zero muscle. Like it atrophied so bad. And then now that I can lift and I can jump around a little bit, lift a little bit of weights, I'm like appreciating the little things. And that's helped me with other stuff too, just in regular life. But yeah, that the and we talked about it growing up, like me and my family, like we wanted all these big wins, but those little small steps, we just took them for granted. And I'm
Yeah.
learning that you appreciate those for sure.
Yeah, we always do, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we think it's never going to happen to us until it does, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I don't know. It's like while we never want those things to happen, sometimes they need to happen in a sense to kind of give us a new perspective. So take us through the mindset now. Like it's nationals, and you're getting ready to compete. How does one qualify for the national team? And would you? Yeah, so two-part question. So how does one qualify for nationals? I mean, the U.S. team, I'm sorry, at nationals. And then when you're at nationals, like what's the level of caliber of these athletes today? Because karate has evolved and everyone's getting so much better, I feel. But based on
Yeah.
your experience.
As far as qualifying for the national team,
Yeah.
it changed it up a little bit. But when I was growing up as a kid, you would go to nationals. If you got first or second, then you'd be picked for the team.
Hmm.
And it was a bigger team. Like they would take all ages because it was all together. Like I know in some other organizations, it's just like a junior team and then an adult team, but they
Yeah.
take everyone. So it'd be like 100-person team. But if you got first or second, then you would be picked. And now I think it's a different system. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a different system now, but there's a few events that you need to go to just to qualify and be considered. But as far as like the talent, it's insane. I mean, I was watching a few of your podcasts back, and Austin was talking about it. Like some of these kids coming up, like if I could do what they are doing now as a kid, I'd be so much better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, they're pretty good. I'm gonna have to like stay focused and like, because I still think I'm on the younger side, but now I'm 23, and there's kids that are 18 coming in and that just have this insane amount of skill. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
let me look for them. Let me make sure I'm like doing my part and doing my thing that I can, win still. But yeah, the level is elevated, and I think the big thing is just like they see a bunch of people doing these techniques or doing whatever and compete, and they try to
Emulate it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
they just keep practicing and they keep getting better. So yeah, the level at our national, especially AU, is very high now. Um, but yeah, I just it's good to see though, because then it just elevates your own game, you know.
Absolutely. It's like you need those influences, whether it's directly or indirectly to kind of, gauge where
Sure.
you're at. Yeah, something that I talk a lot about on these podcasts, especially with athletes, is imposter syndrome. You go to nationals and you're good, and then you place, and then you make it onto the national team. And then here you are, like on a plane, right? And you're getting ready to cross a whole different time zone, and then you step onto, different soil. I would love to hear your mindset of, do you have you ever battled with this notion of like, I know I'm good, but like, do I really deserve to be here right now? Like, representing my country.
Yeah, definitely. Even just on like US soil, like when let's say I don't win, I'm like, well, am I even as good as I think I am? Or like I build myself up to be? Like
Yeah.
maybe people are gonna look at me differently. That's the biggest thing for me, at least, is people are gonna look at me differently if I lost this one match or this one tournament. Um, but that's in your own head. I've
Yeah.
realized
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
by the end of it, like
No
next year,
one
no one,
cares. No
yeah,
one
exactly.
cares.
No one cares. No one's gonna remember. And then
Yeah.
going overseas, you don't know these people, so I'll see someone maybe warming up. I'm like, oh, he looks pretty good, or like maybe I have heard the name. I'm like, okay, he's pretty good. I have to watch out for him. But you know, you can only control what you're gonna do and everything, and
Yeah.
then you just have to make a game plan and just be strategic with everything and the person you're fighting and the person you're across from. But that imposter syndrome going over, yeah, I feel like everyone gets that. And I can see that now, me coaching all this year, like people get nervous. I'm like, oh, I've had that feeling before. But since I'm not competing, I'm like, yo, it's okay, man. You can take a step back and it's like, it's normal. Just use it to just harness it and then like, and use it for your benefit, not for against you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I agree. It's something that we definitely all go through and different aspects of our life. And like you mentioned coaching and how because you've been in that, same situation, you can, it's like you can comfort your athletes or comfort the person next to you. Um, I wonder because you come from, parents that have coached and done very well, when you're around other team coaches or just maybe just coaches in general, how is that like transcend? Do you find that you're able to listen to other coaches maybe early on, like was that difficult, or have you had that ability just to be open-minded, whether like you hear something from your mom or dad, or maybe you hear something different from another coach and you're like, oh, I've never heard it like explained that way, but that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I always had this one coach growing up. His name was Mr. Ken. He's like one of my dad's best friends. Me and his son are like best friends. And he would always coach, and we met through karate, obviously. And he would coach me at any event, like especially nationals. But when I got invited overseas, I'm like, he's not going to be there. So the biggest thing is like, obviously being coachable and just like taking whatever they say and then using it for your, I don't know, the way you fight or whatever. And that's I think that's the biggest thing athletes should have, is being coachable by like just anyone. And I don't think I ever really had a problem listening to anyone else. I mean, as far as like technical stuff goes, I always try to listen to my parents because they taught me like from white belt all the way up to now. But as far as coaching now, like even when I'm competing, especially for fighting, I use my boys like Stevie or Austin or whoever, Zaylin, and they coach me. And I prefer that now, other than like maybe like a national coach, because they know me better. They train with me, they spar with me, whatever it may be, and they know who I am as a person and how I'll react if they talk to me in the chair. So now I just prefer a certain person in my chair now, just because it's just a higher level.
Yeah. Is that something that's kind of new? Because I remember when I was doing AAU, like you had your main coach, and I don't remember really seeing any cross coaching, if you will, where like your peers or people that you're competing with, or in your corner. I think it's amazing. So I think that's awesome that A, you had that relationship, and B, that opportunity. But is that pretty common now?
Yeah, I mean, at least for a lot of us now that are getting older, like we're becoming the top people in our dojo. So we want to coach our athletes, like our students or like the people that are coming up. Um, but there's, like I said, the level at the adult is, just different. So we want someone that is in that, like who actually competes and who has the time that can, maybe give us a different type of look when we're fighting. Like maybe we didn't see that. We need someone that is just as good in that sense in Kumite, to be in our chair. But I think it's just because we're just maybe a different level at our dojo. Like we don't have people that can challenge us, and we just need someone from around the country that we just train with on a daily, or not a daily, but like a monthly basis, that can help us.
Yeah. Yeah. So just that collaboration has really helped you guys. That's
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah. And there's a group of us that like got together. We had a big open seminar for like a weekend, and we're all really close now. So we could always just sit down and be like, "Yo, we got you. Let's get it done. Let's get this match done." It's mentioned it before. Me, Stevie, Austin, Mateo up in I think it's Utica, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Sean, who's in Brooklyn, and then Zaylen, who just recently came over to AU. Compared to all of us,
Yeah.
he's down. So we're always trying to help each other out. For
Yeah.
sure.
Like, yeah, no, no, like I love it because I think collaboration is healthy, and I think that's if you want to grow the sport, you have to do what you guys are doing, and that's kind of uncommon. I feel because it's easy to. I mean, it's one thing to be at a tournament and maybe you see these guys at a clinic or a seminar, but the fact that you guys are kind of off not off grid but kind of off the cuff and doing this on your own, that shows that there's a unity there, and like you guys are all working towards the same goal. And something that Steven said was that it's never like there's never really no rivalry like with you guys. Like sure, like some of you guys are competing with each other,
Yeah.
same weight classes, but it's never been a moment, at least from his perspective, where it was hostile or anything. And I think that's amazing that you guys can put that set those things away. I mean, like, would you agree
Sure.
with that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, me and my buddy Mateo, like we've been competing against each other the last like 3 or 4 years, and it's always, I mean, it's just we're competitive. We want to win, and like we'll do whatever we can to win, especially in that match. But after when we're off the mat, we're dapping each other up. We're like, yo, good job, man. Like that was a good fight. Like it's all love, Especially now after we like finally did this seminar and everything, everyone's so much closer. Especially me and him. Like we respect each other, but now we're just like actual like friends and brothers because we've like talked about it and we're like, yo, we're just competitive. We just want to win.
Yeah.
Or even Austin, we used to compete because we're in the same district, but now it's just we're brothers.
No, that's awesome. So, who went into planning that event, and how did you guys figure out who was going to teach what? Or did you guys kind of do it on the fly?
Yeah, me and Austin had mentioned it first to me and maybe Stevie, and he was like, "Yo, like they're doing it on like in other organizations, like we should be able to do it." And maybe like the actual AAU team, like the national team, can't really host it. We don't know. We didn't know why. We were like, but we could do it. I mean, we'll just sanction it ourselves. And then we kind of like went away for a few months, and I was like, "Yo," like I talked to my mom. He's like, "You guys should be doing this." And
Yeah.
Austin and Stevie, I was like, "Dude, we should get this going again." He goes, "Okay," and then we had Zoom calls and we planned in. The first one was really successful. It was up in Newport News where Austin lives.
Yep.
And just we're hoping to do it a bunch this next year. Everyone's kind of me and Sean are injured, and then everyone's kind of doing their own thing this year, so it's kind of tough. But we're definitely going to try to keep doing it because we had a lot of success with it, and I think people got a lot out of it. I mean, especially us too, even as the people running it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's and like your mom said, it's like why not do it, And I'm sure there's other athletes now that can use that as a kind of inspiration. And Steven said there was someone from the West Coast that came all the way out to like that
Yeah,
event. So yeah,
I
so clearly
think
you guys are getting traction.
sure. I feel like AU is more of an East Coast like
It is.
body, and then the other organization NKF is more West Coast, and but yeah, we're trying to get whoever NKF AAU doesn't matter. We want them to all come, and we'll just like train and compete a little bit.
Yeah. Um, so I know there's obviously an organizational divide there, but have you ever had the chance to collab with NKF athletes? And if so, um, because I know when I was on the team, there was people that did both. And I think back then it was kind of frowned upon, but now I think it's more common where like athletes just want experience. And me, honestly, I don't care what organization you represent. If you want to, be the best, I think you have to be able to, train and compete with the best. So I would love to kind of get your take on that. So like, how do you, and again, not to get political, but like, what's been your take kind of with athletes cross training, and is that something that you've done?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is still pretty frowned upon. Like, and I don't want to say it's gotten worse or anything, but I just wish there wasn't that political side and like which organization you could be for. I think people just want to get better. That's at least for me. Like speaking for myself, I didn't get to compete a lot over there. I've only maybe gone to like 2 or 3 NKF events, and maybe 4, and 2 of them were when I was in high school for the ISF games.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
What was it, 2024? I went to an event down in South Carolina for it's called what was it, like Champs Water World Cup or something like that, and I got to compete against some of the top like NKF guys that are doing well now, and it was great. I mean, like you get to see what level you're at and like how you want to up your game and everything like that. I think you're right. I think anyone should be able to compete and just get better. Like it's nothing it's not against the organization. It's just we want to, as an athlete, want to get better and be the best we can. So I
Yeah.
wish the political part wasn't so involved, but you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's been that's been one of the interesting things about, these conversations is I've had both, the NKF and AAU. I've had coaches on from both, but ultimately, man, like I think the overall message is that, like, coaches especially, they want what's best for the athletes, and it's not even the coaches. It's the people above them. From what I've heard, again, not to, I don't want to. I'm not trying to get canceled because of this or you to
yeah,
get
no, I
canceled,
understand.
but
Sure.
it's just, it's just crazy how like there is a divide, and if we ever want karate to be in the Olympics, it starts with us. It should be USA karate. That's it. But again, I don't know. What do I know? You know what I mean? I'm just running this podcast, so
No, I totally agree. I don't even know how it got divided, but it just did. And I think, like you said, it's just the higher ups a little bit. And we, it's really it should be about the athlete and the athletes. So yeah,
yeah.
unfortunate, but it happens.
Absolutely. So, kind of speaking on the realms of the athletes and being able to compete not only in this country, but I know you mentioned Algeria. What are some other notable countries that you had the chance to visit?
Yeah, for sure. The first trip I ever went on, World Championship, was Ireland. That was for WUKF. I
Mhm.
was 13. That was when I won my first as a junior. So that was really fun. Ireland's cool. It was weird because it was like daylight at like 3 in the morning. I remember that being the specific thing in Ireland. Been to Morocco for the ISF games that I was talking about.
Yeah,
Scotland, Slovakia, Hungary, Algeria. Trying to think of some other ones, some notable ones. But yeah, no, the trips into Africa were probably the most fun. They were the longest, the smallest team that I went on, and just like Africa is just so cool. And yeah, both countries I've been to were so cool.
yeah.
Um, yeah, those are the notable ones that I can remember right now.
Yeah, I know the athletes that have had a chance to go to Europe or like on that part of the world. They always emphasize that like they left more with more understanding of how different cultures operate. But it sounds like your time in Africa was very it was fun. But I'm sure there's something that you like learned as far as wow, like this is cool, but this is not like America. So I beg to quite like I ponder, if you will, like what was some of the biggest takeaways from any of those trips that you learned, just about that country and just kind of how the world perceives us as us as Americans.
Yeah, I think a lot of them like just almost adore our country. Like they love our country and they just want to meet Americans. And that's why like um the way you act when you go over there, like it'll either be good because that's what they think we act like, or it'll be bad because they're like they have a certain image about us. But I think they all just want to meet us because like America's like this, it's this great country. We have everything basically. But another big thing is like the people, they're all like the only thing that is different is just the language barrier. I feel like we're all the same. I thought like maybe they would act different or maybe there's a little bit of different customs, whatever. But the adults, the kids, they all act the same like they do in America. That's just a language barrier. They all like have fun. They all like go out. They all do these like they just want to be the best at what they do.
Yeah,
And and then the other thing is like karate is like that's like a national sport. You get paid. The government helps you. Where not in America, it's just more of a hobby. Like if you're good, yeah, but you still have to like pay your way unless you get sponsors or whatever. But over there, it's like that's a big thing. That's a big sport. That's like us playing like American football here.
yeah.
So that's the biggest thing that I noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that I took away from my experience in Italy was because that was my only, a world trip, with the national team. But yeah, just in that short amount of time, I got to, see a couple of the Bosnians and the Serbians and just kind of how they operate. And, like even some of the Russians, you get a little intimidated being in that environment. And it's almost like, it's like the competition hasn't even started, but you're just around these other people. And I think, and it was after self-reflection, JJ, that I realized that I was feeling that because of what I've heard from people, right? Like I heard from the media, but you're right. They're just like you and I. And the one thing that I've learned as I've gotten older is that we all want the same things. We all want food, shelter. We want love, things. We want to know that people care. And for me, that was like that was eye opening to know, like, yeah, this person might be trying to take off our heads, but like they have like their why is so much bigger because, like you said, like they're fighting to be on this national team, which could ultimately be, their livelihood. Where, like you said, in America, it's more of a hobbyist, and that's something that I wish that it's a shame that these athletes, they work so hard, like yourself. You make a national team, and I mean, how many athletes do you know that should be on the trip but they just can't afford it? I think it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's like one of the bigger things that me and my friends talk about is like we we should take the best athlete, and I wish the process of taking a team was a little bit better. And they're trying to change it a little bit in the AAU, but
How so?
I think they're doing a point system now. Like you go to certain events and you get a certain amount of points, wherever. Kind of like in WKF, where if you go to like the Pan Ams or Premier League or whatever, or Karate One, kind of like that type of sense. Um, but I think the process should be like, if you're the best, you get chosen, you go. Um, but AAU is a big developmental program, so like it's they want to develop these younger athletes, and I get it, I totally get it. But of course the money comes in. Like, well, what if we can't travel? Like, what if there's only one event we can go to, and we perform the best? Then maybe that should be a bigger consideration as opposed to something else. But I'm not on that board. I'm not a coach, so I just try to go and do my best and show up when I can. So
Yeah. Do you have aspirations to ever want to become like a national team coach?
oh, for sure. Yeah, I think especially this year, like being able to coach, I feel like I'm pretty good. And people ask for me to coach them, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Like this, if I want to stay in the sport, and let's say
Yeah.
my time is out like a few years down the line, 5, 10 years, whatever. I would love to still stay in the sport, especially because I see these kids that are coming up. I'm like, wow, these kids are good. I would love to coach them because it's just like you tell them to do something and they're like, okay, got it, and they go out and do it. So I would love to, and I'm kind of in the process of trying to become that now too, because my injury and everything. Until at least I come back and compete. So yeah.
Yeah, Steven was saying that he had a chance to coach, I think last year
Mhm.
or so, or when he was 25. I think it was at the Transylvania. I think I had like, I think
Yeah.
I'm getting that right. Yeah, and he said that he loved it. So it's cool to see younger coaches, if you will, kind of stepping into that role. And I think when you have athletes that are 16, 17, 18, I think they can relate more to coaches around your age because I mean you're still doing it, and they've seen your success. And something that I asked Steven was, when he got selected, did the athletes like how did the athletes perceive him? And he said that they all respected him because they knew that he was legit. So I think if you do all the right things, people see that, and I think I mean I could definitely mean I already assumed that you were already coaching, at the
Yeah.
professional level.
Yeah, my mom kind of has that spot for the Robinson family right now because she's one of the assistant head coaches. But when
Yeah.
she's got to replace. But yeah, I love coaching. I think there's pressure like that you want the athlete to win, but it's not like on yourself. Like you just want to be there best you can for the athlete, which is
Yeah.
it's rewarding when they win. So for sure.
Yeah. So now, like, I'd love to transition now into, where you're at now as far as home, because I know you said your dad, has let you take over the dojo. So do you like how much, with your injury, how much like stuff do you do day to day with the operations of your dojo?
Yeah, we're kind of in the process of making some new programs for the dojo and just like building up a little bit more. And honestly, we might move here soon, but yeah, it was a big talk that I had with my dad about whether I wanted to take over or not, and he kind of just really stepped back. So I was really thankful, and I realized like, wow, there's no excuse. Like I have this great opportunity. I should make the most of it.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing for me is like I want that instant gratification of like the dojo being huge or so many people flooding in to come to our dojo. But it's just not like that. I've been it's almost May, so 8 months, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it's not taking off like I wanted to, but it's not going to happen like that. They've been open 21 years now, and they had their struggles, so it's only part of the process. But as far as teaching, like I had to take a month off because of the surgery, and I wasn't able to really stand or do anything. But now I'm back there teaching the kids again and able to, take over the classes, which is nice. So
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's interesting, as they say, like we all wear different hats when we're running businesses. And, I wonder for you, like what were some of the challenges that you learned early on as far as, running a school or maybe things that you didn't even consider?
Yeah, I think one is the marketing. Like that's a big thing. I wish I had a little more marketing experience, but um, it's fun to learn about it, honestly. And then I think the parents, connecting with the parents and the kids, like everyone, one, the kids, they all learn differently. The students learn differently, and then dealing with the parents is gaining their respect because I'm most the parent. I'm younger than all the parents now, so they're maybe they look at me as a kid or they're like, oh, maybe he's young, maybe he's naive, whatever it is. But earning their respect was the biggest thing first, especially starting out. But now we're kind of getting around that, getting over that hill, and now everyone's like, oh, he's doing a great job, and um, there was a little iffiness with some of the parents, but now they're like, okay, now we trust him. We know he knows what he's doing, and we
Yeah.
want our kids here and we learn from him. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's interesting how when we transcend from, competing, right, we have all this success and sometimes, naturally or organically, right, we wish that, all that success kind of bleeds over into when we teach. But when you're teaching, especially for the first time, it's like it's almost like being a white belt again, and just it's like those same like, raw emotions, if you will. So that's pretty cool, man. I'm excited for you. So yeah, what's the name of your dojo?
Yeah, Triangle's best karate. I don't know if you can really see it.
Yeah, yeah,
Triangle's best karate and fitness. But
nice.
yeah,
What was
so,
the origin of that? Like, what was kind of the
yeah, definitely. My dad grew up in Philly, and his original dojo was best karate, and wherever he lived, I forgot the actual like town that he lived in Philly, but
yeah.
best karate stands for better education with a strong tradition. And
Okay.
a lot of people don't understand. They're just like, oh, it's the best karate and whatever, in the triangle or whatever. But we wanted to put dots on our sign, like, as an acronym, but we just didn't have the space on our board to do it all for the sign.
Yeah.
But it's deeper meaning than what people know. And I actually had to write about it for my essay when I tested for my last black belt. And that's all it was about, is this better education with a strong tradition. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, man, I'm hoping all the success to you guys. And I know you mentioned your sister now being on board. So when she starts like what's her position there, or is she just a student? Because I know you mentioned that you get a chance to kind of coach her now. Is it just you that's running this school and
Yeah.
instructors?
So it's me and my mom mostly. Like my mom does more of the marketing. She help teaches, and my dad comes in like once or twice a week to help teach whenever he's feeling up for it. But
Sure.
me, I'm just running most of the classes, and we have a lot of good senseis at our dojo that help out, which is I'm so thankful because I sometimes I'm not there, or sometimes you just need a break once in a while.
Yeah.
Um,
I get it.
yeah, but my sister she lives in Orlando now. She has her own job. She actually just got a job with AAU, so
Oh,
she's
nice.
gonna be around a little bit more now. But she just came back after 6 years because she stopped, and she just wanted to do something different. And she missed karate, missed competing, and now she's back in it. And she thought about coming up, but I think she just got this new job and she's excited. So that maybe later down the line she'll come up and help. But right now it's just me teaching, my mom marketing mostly, and my dad coming in as like a guest instructor. So
Yeah. Yeah, JJ, just to let you know, and just maybe this is kind of reinforces what you're doing. So, I help run a school. I'm a full time martial artist. So, when you get those moments when you don't want to teach, or it's like, oh, I'm tired. Believe me, bro. Everyone experiences those same emotions. So, I've had to learn earlier on, the problems that I might have at this school, you know, they also exist, everywhere else. You know what I mean? So I think just being patient and just kind of, learn this, whole process as it goes. It's cool that your mom is there with you. For some reason, for some reason, I thought you were doing this on your own, meaning like they had a school and now you have a
oh
school.
no, no, yeah, I was lucky to inherit their dojo. Yeah, I think they just want what's best for me. Like when I said my dad took a step back, I didn't want to take over. I thought about moving somewhere, and it was a big conversation, and he was the bigger man and took a step back, and I was like, okay, well, there's no excuse. So I took over, and it's been nice. It's been a struggle, like about like what we just talked about, but it's rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, JJ, as we close out this conversation, I'd love to give you an opportunity to kind of answer this question. It might be kind of off the cuff, but if you could change one thing about karate, like what would that change be?
I think far as competition goes, I think everyone being in one organization, and I know a lot of people probably say this, the politics side. I wish it wasn't there. I just wish the best could come out of the each division, and we
Mhm.
send the best athletes, and just a better process of all karate people, and especially in the U.S. And they just send the best. But yeah, that would be the biggest thing because I think everyone's on the same page. It's just like we talked about, some people that are higher level than us are not on the same page, and it sucks, but it happens.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it just reinforces the idea that we can only control what we can. We can't worry about what other people are doing. But I agree. I hope that future gets the benefit because really it's not even about us. It's the future of karate, right? Because you take it away from people that maybe want to do the Olympics, and then these organizations. I'll just say that they have whatever beef. So yeah, just I agree. I agree. Yeah, JJ, where can people find you as far as, social media if they want to get in touch with you or maybe find out more about your dojo?
Sure, definitely. My Instagram is going to be JJUFit, YUFIT 21, JJUFit 21. That's my main page. And then our dojo page is just Triangle's Best Karate if you guys wanted to check us out. And then, yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And it was an honor to have you on. Like I said, yeah, your dad reached out to me. Yeah, so huge shout out to Steve, and then your counterparts and Stephen Gallagher, Austin Gillespie. I'm going to be having Sean here soon, so I'm excited to. Oh, and I also had Mateo on too, so I'm excited to kind of complete this team.
Yeah,
I can. Yeah, so yeah, I appreciate you trusting me with this process, and yeah, I look forward to seeing. All your success in the future, man. So JJ, like
that's
thank you
good.
again for checking us out and also being a guest on the podcast today. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, I appreciate you.